everybody. Welcome back to yet another live for today. I think this is number 3, guys. So I'm on a roll. Well, true crime is on a roll, and then I'm just here. Oh, it's good to see that you're a new member, Leslie. That is so good. Good evening, everybody. As you guys are coming to the chat, if you wouldn't mind just hitting the like button as you're coming in, that way more people will see the video and they'll be able to join us. I do have the chat on subscribers only though, and that's only because I don't have wasn't like that yet. So while I'm coming back to the pages, it's just easier to keep the box out. So until then, you don't have to be a subscriber for I don't think any duration. I think it's on any duration. So if you'd like to drop where you're from in the comments, we would love to know. It looks like you guys have 2 people from Canada in here. So hi, Marley and Lee. And Princess Elsa, yeah, Sugar and Spice. Looks like we got some people in here tonight. Leslie's here, or she was anyway. I don't know if she's not. But we will get started with tonight's live. So if you haven't been following me personally on YouTube, then you wouldn't know. But I did do 2 lives earlier today, and then I did a pre-recorded because there was just a lot of information that was kind of coming at us at once. So let me see what was going on today. So the Idaho Four was supposed to have a press conference this evening, but they didn't end up having it. They ended up having a impromptu YouTube video, if you would. That's what they gave us. They gave us a YouTube video that said nothing. Basically nothing new. So we did a live over the Idaho press conference, and then we did or I just did a video on that, I believe. Or we did a short live, I'm sorry. It was 30-minute live. And then we did an hour and 30 minutes for the AWP releasing their full interview today and kind of what it meant for the Kylie Rodney case. So those are a couple that you guys can check out if you like to. I do live like every day, so it's always good to have a channel that kind of does that. I usually go live it wasn't any afternoons. There was really nothing that was like off topic. I was like here all the time. But I am going to try to keep it doing lives in the morning and then doing a couple lives in the evening for members only. And I'm going to do an extra live in the evening too, just for a regular live. So with that being said, has everybody heard of the news about Billie Joe Howell, Leilani's mother? Is it really crazy? Maybe it's because I moved the desk. But hopefully it'll fix itself. Is it? Okay. That's crazy because we fixed everything we thought. I mean, is that any better? Let me know if that's better. It could have been because I moved the microphone too. Yeah, let me know if it's any better. If it's not, then I'll just use my MacBook. Okay, it is better now? Okay, good. Yes, awesome. Okay. I think if I move the cord a weird way, this is a weird mic. I'm going to have to get another one. We just got this one. I'm already have to get another one. So anyway, Billie Joe Howell, Leilani Simon's mother, was arrested today. So let me go ahead and pull that up for you guys so you guys can see all of that. I did put it on my Twitter right away as soon as I saw it, and I put it on the community tab. So if you're not a subscriber, you won't get those alerts. If you don't have the bell icon alerted also, I always try to put it in the community tab. And if I see it, I usually see things on Twitter first. If it's before, YouTube, but it's usually I'll see it on Twitter first. So go ahead and add me if you like to over on Twitter. My handle is @TitaniumBuilt. I do put a lot of information out over there because it's just very quick and easy. So yeah, Billie Joe was arrested today. Let me show you her mugshot here. She looks just like her daughter. But I wanted to go ahead and, bring this up before we got started into the Dr. Phil episode, because I did get that narrowed down to like 14 minutes for y'all. So you don't have to go through the commercials or anything like that. So yeah, and tomorrow I'm actually doing a live on Quentin Simon's case. I'm going to be doing a live tomorrow, I believe at 9:15, and we are going to go over it's a new documentary. They just came out with it, I believe, over I think it was last night or the night before, and it's the story, of Quentin Simon and just what happened to him. They're just to let you guys know now, it is going to be one of those stories that are going to be hard to hear. There's audio that's never been released that we're going to hear, things like that. So, I just want to let you guys know ahead of time, because it's going to be kind of, a hard one to do. But yeah, that's her mom. You can tell she has the same dark spots as Leilani did right there. She has the suicide vest on too. And they are in the same jail. They are both in right here. They're both in the Chatham County jail right now. Maybe they can room together. Save space. But yeah, that's her. And then they did have a story on it. Let me go ahead and play that for you.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike C. And I'm going to make a week.
Here, I'll go ahead and play this for you real quick. This is just them talking about them arresting her.
Speaking of breaking news, we've learned in the last half hour that the grandmother of Quentin Simon has now been arrested. WTOC's Shay Schrader joins us live outside the Chatham County Jail.
I'm going to pause it. So a suicide vest, Marlene, I should have explained that. Sorry about that. So when you first when you're first brought into the jail, if they feel that you may harm yourself, they will put you in what is called like a suicide. I had like the exact word, like, what is it called? Like, it's like a cloth, like a vest pretty much. And it's like a vest, but it's very long and it's very heavy. And they give you that instead of giving you clothing, because you can attempt to hang yourself with clothing. They won't give you bed sheets. They won't give you shoes or shoestrings, things like that. And they'll put that weighted vest on you. I don't know what the weight is supposed to do. Maybe it's supposed to help calm you down, because they're mostly are weighted vest and like a smock. Thank you, Gerald. That's what I was like, it was on my community tab because it came to me at the time. But yeah, a smock, like it's suicide smock. And yeah, they just put that on you, and pretty much then they will have you, if there's nobody available, it depends on what time she had went in there today. If she would have went in there like in the morning time, maybe there's a psychiatrist there that could see her, but they will want her to be seen by a psychiatrist or somebody in the mental health field before they send her into general population. So as of right now, she could just be sitting in a holding cell with that smock on, hanging pretty. But we know where she's not going to be tonight. She's not going to be laying her head in her own bed.
More details. Shay, what can you tell us?
Billie Howell has been arrested, and on her booking report, it lists that she's being held by the juvenile court. Now, what we do know is that Billie has been involved in a custody case regarding Leilani Simon's other two children than Quentin Simon. That case was sealed from the public, and everybody involved in that case has been placed under a gag order, but the charge is for contempt of court. That is why she is being held by the juvenile court. This isn't in connection to Quentin's murder. That's very important to note. Right now, Billie's daughter, Leilani Simon, is also being held in this very same jail on charges of murder in connection to her son, Quentin Simon's death and disappearance. Billie has had sporadic contact with Leilani ever since she was arrested a couple of weeks ago, and today entering the same facility that her daughter was booked into just a couple of weeks ago. Details are limited at this time because that juvenile court case, again, is under a gag order, so WTOC has not been allowed into the courtroom, nor has any other media outlet in the area. The only folks that have been allowed in there are people directly involved with this case. But we will, of course, keep you updated. Again, Billie Howell being held in the Chatham County Detention Center by the Juvenile Court of Chatham County. Live in Chatham County, Shay Schrader, WTOC News.
So, yep, they're holding her in the Chatham County Jail. They didn't say when she was going to be seen or anything like that. I am going to, they haven't really put out a whole lot of information about her yet. Let me see if there's anything else that I can find. Doesn't, okay, so let's see. This was an hour ago. I think this is the one. Yeah, this is the one that we saw. Okay, so that's the one that we saw. And she's on hold for juvenile court. We believe that it was because of the custody case for the other two grandchildren. But it's all sealed under gag order, I guess, as of right now. So I just wanted to show you guys that stuff because that was some interesting stuff to come up. I mean, it's bad. But I wonder what she's thinking now. It's probably one thing when you're dropping your own damn kid off, right? And you're like, yeah, you're in trouble. But then it's a whole other ballpark, right? Whenever she's in trouble. Right, Samantha? Justice for Quentin. And it's like, it's all coming together, you know? It's all coming together for that little boy. I mean, these things don't just happen. I mean, what did they say? It was 5% of landfill searches end in success. And for them to be able to do that for 30 days, 1.2 million pounds of trash they shifted through. I'm cutting in and out again. Oh, man. Okay, we're about to just put it on the... Let me know if it's still doing it. And if it is, I'm just going to go ahead and put it on my MacBook speakers because I don't know what is going on with this thing. Okay, let's see if that helps. Because I just moved it to another port. Let's see if that one works. So we will go ahead and we will go to the Dr. Phil episode. So Dr. Phil is normally an hour long. And today we got lucky. I found that they actually put it down to a 14-minute video and it's literally just them talking. So there's no commercials, none of that stuff. So I may stop it in between just to see kind of what they're saying, what they're thinking, those kind of things. But I'm going to go ahead and just start sharing that with you guys now. Before I do that, though, I do want to say, I do want to say that the news that I gave you guys earlier in my live, we went over a Fox News. I'm going to go ahead and share it with you. It was a Fox News clip, and it said Idaho Murders, Kaylee Gonzalez's father makes bombshell revelations. And it was like, you know, that he was talking about how they were like, the way they were cut and things like that. I guess her sister came forward, Olivia, and wrote an article, I don't know, maybe it was a Facebook post or something along those lines saying that that wasn't true. So I'm not sure if the news got it wrong or if maybe Mr. Goncalves spoke and then maybe the police spoke to him and was like, what did you just do? And now he's trying to backpedal. I'm not really sure there. So it's just kind of crazy. Oh, that's okay, Annette. Yeah, it's actually Tanya, but you know what? I go by either way. I go by the either spelling. That is very sweet. You're very sweet. So yeah, I don't know what to believe now because, you know, they're saying, and this even goes back to what we were talking about the other evening in our live with Mr. Goncalves said the officers told him that the point of entry was the back door. But then when I wrote the police station, I asked them specifically about that. They told me if it was not in their news release on their Facebook page, on their or on their website, that it wasn't true. And now he's, you know, saying these things, and now Mr. Goncalves is saying, well, no, I didn't say those, or his daughter is saying, no, he didn't say that. And so I'm just not really sure what's going on with that right there. I'm just not sure. So let's go ahead and move over to Dr. Phil. I used to watch Dr. Phil like all the time. This is the first like mini episode I'd watched in a really long time. So I'm gonna go ahead and play it for you guys. And I think there's closed captioning on there.
Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
4 students were found murdered.
The Idaho Murders.
I see a rage killing somebody that lives within 3 hours.
To kill somebody with a knife, it's very personal. You're covered in their blood. You have exclusive pictures of inside the house.
It looked like a mess.
You spoke to someone who was at the party.
They told me that Ethan had words and then he got heated.
The gruesome quadruple murder of 4 university students has really transfixed the nation and left the tiny town of Moscow, Idaho, both frustrated and fearful as hours, days, and now weeks go by with police still yet to name a suspect or even a person of interest. On November 13th, sometime between the hours of 3 and 4 a.m., Ethan, Xana, and best friends Kaylee and Madison were stabbed to death in their house near the campus of the University of Idaho after a night of partying. Law enforcement says the 2 surviving roommates were asleep in their first floor bedrooms during the attack.
I wanted to stop it there because like the way that they have this set up, it just kind of makes it look like that the bedroom wasn't here and the bedroom was actually there for the second floor, Xana's bedroom.
And didn't wake up until later that morning. Now, at this point, police are not sure if the attack was a target on the house or the students. Kaylee's father believes the killer did target his daughter and her friends coming in through the second floor sliding glass door. Now, either way, the families are demanding answers. But as of now, this whole thing remains a mystery. Dr. Casey, let me start with you.
Sure.
When you look at this, beyond the horrific nature of this crime, these 4 young people so tragically killed, is there anything that jumps out at you about it?
We have to consider that this is a town that's not had any homicides in 7 years. It's a university town, 26,000 people live there, but half, at least 13,000, are students.
Right.
So when you think about 4 people dying in one night with horrific slashings, okay, the stabbing of that night shows a frenzy. So whoever went into that house, if it was targeted towards the human, which is what Kaylee's father believes, started with, in his words, the 2 girls, but then took the time to even kill another couple. We don't know if the perpetrator went downstairs or was even aware that there were 2 unharmed people downstairs. So the idea that you have 6 people, it doesn't surprise me that the roommate slept through it, because I know how college kids are when they party on a Saturday night. But to go in and get out, take the knife with him, and leave no trace, because we're going to come up on a month very soon with no suspects. What stands out the most is that I would have guessed this was inner circle, somebody who knew these girls. I think Kaylee and Maddie were probably the targets if it was indeed targeted. And I would have thought that they would have a suspect by now, that they would have an arrest by now. And as time goes on, Dr. Phil, I am more and more convinced that this could be a random stranger, something like the Gainesville Ripper that we saw in Florida 30 years ago.
Right.
As time passes, the odds of that being true do increase.
Of this attack, what you see is somebody that I think we're all in agreement, somebody that probably lives, I put it within 3 hours, because if it happened at 3, the sun came up around 7, most likely an attacker would want to be home and would be satiated. This is also a lot about satiation. So the person was probably satiated, exhausted, and didn't want to be out after the sun came up.
This was not a particularly complex house, but it was on 3 levels. And if the entry was on the second level, or was actually the middle level, the ground level, and I think everybody is kind of assuming that that was the entry point.
It does make the most sense.
Yeah, it makes the most sense to come through that slider, which was ground level, so somebody could walk up and
Everybody believes that but me. I know we all know that, but I'm just going to put that up there.
come through there. Now, DailyMail.com has been covering the case since the beginning. And so joining us now is DailyMail.com senior reporter and our good friend, Caitlin Becker, who has brought us exclusive pictures of inside the house. And Caitlin, you've been all over this. So let's get some details here and start by looking at the bedrooms where these victims were found. It's very likely that they came in the sliding door. And that's the one that you can walk up to, right? You just walk up on the grass.
So the back of the house is ground floor, is the second floor. There's two possible points of entry there. There's a slider and a window, and there was a cinder block under a window, which were very close, and they're going into the kitchen.
Okay.
Now, Xana and her boyfriend, Ethan, were on the second floor there.
This is the patio ground access where someone could walk up.
Yeah.
And this is a sliding door.
And there's
then
a window near there, too.
And there was a window near there as well. And who was on this floor and in which bedroom?
So that was Xana and Ethan, and they were a couple, and I believe they were bedroom D.
Maddie and Kaylee were on the third floor. They were in which bedroom?
So they were in bedroom E, which was Maddie's bedroom.
Okay, they were over
Kaylee's
here.
bedroom was bedroom F, but Kaylee had moved out because she was graduating in December. So she was just back visiting for the weekend, had brought her dog with her, and her best friend from growing up was her roommate, Maddie. So they were sleeping in the same bed in room E, Maddie's room.
Then the third couple was in the basement on the first floor.
Mm-hmm. The roommates. Yeah, the two roommates. And so there were two empty bedrooms in the house.
Okay. The whole point is these guys say they didn't hear anything at all. And if they had been out partying and were zonked out and all, did it seem like that's possible that they could not hear anything?
It's certainly possible that they couldn't have heard anything.
That's what I was going to say. I don't think she moved out yet either. There was a couple things in this Dr. Phil interview that I was kind of like, huh? But that was one of them, because she technically would still have school left. She would have graduated this past weekend. She passed away, or she didn't pass away, but she was killed on the 13th of November. I think that you still have finals to turn in after that. So that's just, I don't know. That one's strange. Marlene Dyke said, I'm not sure he came in this slider either. Oh my Lord, I got me somebody that's on my side. No, I got a lot of people, I think, on my side, but I bring the same case. I feel the same. I feel that he came in the front door. We went over in a live, one of my lives, I think it was probably maybe yesterday or day before, about, I found a news article that her, two of the kids, I think it was actually, she was friends with all three of the girls. She came forward and she had said that the keypad was actually broken and that anybody could just come in. That keypad didn't even work. So I'm thinking that he came in the front door and he left the front door out the, I think that he came in, I think he came the same way he left. And those chairs being propped up in front of that back slider door, I don't know when they were placed there, but the officer shouldn't have placed them there. So they should have been placed there the night of the crime, so that he wouldn't have been able to come in those back slider doors. You think the fraternity wasn't involved? I need to look into that more, the fraternity. I hear a lot of people talk about that. I just think it's one person, though. That's my thing. I think it's one person. I've always said one person. And people made fun of me about my age range, but I've said 27 to like 32. I don't know. White male. I think it's somebody that lives close, like a neighbor, maybe not too close, but close enough. And I think that he may have a wife or a girlfriend or a fiance to make him to where he doesn't stand out as much. I'm going to go ahead and start playing this again. And then this is the news. This is the lady from Daily Mail here.
thing. And we've also heard from other people who were living in the house in years prior who had rented it before these girls did, saying that he was on the lowest floor, and unless someone was playing a television extremely loud on the second floor, extremely loud on the third floor, they really wouldn't have heard anything. As you can see, the house is laid out kind of funky, so I don't know what the acoustics are like. You also have to figure this is a house with a bunch of roommates in college, so a little noise is probably kind of normal. So maybe you hear walking around, it doesn't wake them up because they're kind of used to it.
This knife that was,
And they were only, and just to bring that up too, like the way that that house was laid out, I mean, it's extremely hard to hear. The only person that would have been able to hear anything, I think, in the house would have been the bedroom underneath of Zaina's room. That would have been either Dylan or Bethany's room, the door when you come into the front door to the right, that bedroom to the right there. That would be the only person that would be able to hear anything, because then you think Ethan and Zaina are in Zaina's room. If you go to the third floor, you have to go to the opposite side of the third floor of the house, like catty corner to Ethan and Zaina to get to Maddie's room. You think the couple was the target and not the girls? Maybe. I've heard that there was an argument that evening, I guess, at the fraternity house, they're saying. Yes, Sugar and Spice, me too. I think she said, my gut says that it was someone who had been in the house and knew that the keypad is broken. Yeah. They had to have known the layout of the house. They had to have known where people were. Unless they were just that brazen, opening doors and jumping in like they were going to attack someone and then nobody be there. I don't know. That would just take too much of your energy to keep doing that. Yeah, one person. I believe it's just one person. So let's see what else they've got to say over here. Oh yeah, this is when they start talking about the knife, and this was actually really interesting.
was used is kind of a cliche among young people. This is a Rambo knife.
Right.
And so this is something that you see in video games. It's something you see in movies because it's a very macho looking knife. So
it's also in shadow boxes and sold. It's one of the cheaper end knives. So you don't have to be, a lot of these knives are $200 or more for a really top quality knife. This is a cheaper knife.
Yeah.
So somebody that doesn't have a big bank account would probably order this. Would also lead me to believe it's a younger individual. Somebody just doesn't have a lot of money.
A real professional would not use that knife.
So we're issued a K-bar knife. Or I don't know about currently, but when I was in, we were issued that knife. And when everybody got out of training, everybody in my platoon immediately went and bought other kinds of knives because it's a thick knife. It doesn't hold an edge well, and the tip is prone to breaking off.
And there's also a guard in a frenzied attack. That's very likely to injure the one doing the stabbing.
Sure.
It is in a frenzied knife, which is likely to leave DNA from that individual.
Correct. And again, when you're using that on 4 individuals, let's not look at them as people. Let's look at them as the objects that were being bluntly hit with this knife. You're talking about bone, cartilage, things that will dull a knife very quickly. So you would probably see a progression of smaller and smaller wounds, or not as deep, or the penetration just wouldn't be as good, and it would become a more physical attack from the very first start.
Well, the one thing Jonathan and I had spoken about relative to this type of knife, guess what it comes with? It comes with a sheath. And everybody's saying, we don't know, the knife isn't there. I think my question is, did he drop the sheath at the scene? Was that left behind? Do they have that clue to go on?
But in terms of looking at this from forensic standpoint, we do know if 4 people are stabbed in rapid succession,
yeah,
the one that stabs first is going to have the most wounds and the deeper wounds.
Right.
And we know that you'll know that that's the person stabbed first because they won't have any of the other 3's DNA on them.
You're absolutely right, Dr. Phil. So there'll be the least amount of transfer DNA from that individual. Just imagine we've got A, B, C, and D. So for the first victim, once they are stabbed, and as Jonathan pointed out, it would be you would have significance there because the individual would still be full of vim and vigor at that point. But from a DNA perspective, as you move to victim B, you're taking DNA from A and then essentially inoculating that individual with A's DNA and so forth and so on. So by the time you get to D, there is a high probability that you're going to have this succession all the way along where they will contain DNA perhaps of everybody involved in this case.
They think they may be clearing some people.
So they're basically saying that they should be able to tell, who was stabbed first, who was stabbed last, because of the way of the instrument, how sharp it would still be, and the force of the actual person that was using it. I was going to read some of your comments. You guys had some really good ones. Where was I at? And let me know. I think my mic should be okay. I think it's whenever I sit back, like, and out of the mic, that's when it kind of goes in and out. But I think that she may have, Heather Munoz, I don't know if I said that right. I'm sorry if I didn't. But I think that she may have actually moved out. You might actually be right, guys. I looked on the fall schedule, the academic calendar for Idaho University. And so it says the fall commencement was Saturday, December the 10th. And then it says fall no exam week. And then on the 24th of November, it just says the university, holidays closed. So she may have been done with all of her things, because I know that they were all like on the dean's list and stuff like that. They all made really good grades. So she probably didn't have anything to worry about. She was probably just done, like you guys said. But I'm reading your guys' comments. So yeah, so it was the bedroom lock, Anna, they were talking about. And TF20, Xana's father did go in and check or change a lock. He changed her bedroom door lock from all the news reports that I've seen. So this is my only question, was like, if the chairs were there in the back door when he was there, like, why didn't he change that lock? You know what I mean? Or if the keypad on the front door was broken, I wonder why they wouldn't have had him change that lock. I mean, I just don't understand that part. I mean, I'm not saying anything about him at all, because he did, he changed what he thought was supposed to be changed. It's just weird that she wouldn't come out and say, hey, Dad, can you change the front door lock? That would seem like that would be a little more important than if you were to say a bedroom lock. But it was like, who was she trying to keep out then of her bedroom? But, she could have just been wanting some privacy with her boo. Hi, Pin Dizzy. Yeah, change Xana's door lock. I wish she would have changed all of the locks. So, yeah, normally it is done at the rental agency, but the rental agency there, I believe they don't even live in the same state, like the people that own this house. So, and even if they did, I don't think that they would be pressed to come change a lock. I mean, I lived in an apartment for 6 years. I mean, it's just terrible getting anything changed around here. We just do it ourselves. Literally, we've done way more than we probably should have done to our place. But I think that's why her father just went ahead and just changed it, because he was like, rental agency's not going to. A lot of times they don't want to do anything until people move out, because they know that these kids are going to end up breaking stuff more than once, probably, because, they have parties, they're college students, it's not theirs, they're rougher on things. So I think that's why her dad just came and changed the lock. Oh, I hope. Well, if I do, then we'll see. They haven't said anything yet. Thank you, though, for letting me know, Heather. If they do get me, well, then we'll just have to bail me out. I don't understand why, I understand other creators, but I don't understand news channels or Dr. Phil or whatever. Don't put your shit on YouTube. I'm sorry, but don't put your shit on there. If you don't want us taking it and listening to it, because that's what you're there for. You're there for entertainment and educational purposes. That's what it says in your little tidbit there, because you're not technically a doctor anymore, Dr. Phil, but we're not going to talk about that, are we? Maybe if I bully him a little bit, he won't come after me. You think that would work? I don't think that would work with Dr. Phil. My mom would be like, oh my gosh, if she was alive right now and she was standing here beside me, she'd be like, don't say that to him. He'll be able to hear you, Tanya. Like he can hear me through the computer. She used to love her some Dr. Phil. Okay, Dr. Phil, don't get me. I'm just playing the 14-minute version of your hour-long video.
People too quickly here. What do you think about that?
All right. Statistically, we're going to look at what we call the inner circle of their friends, people, acquaintances who might have had a vendetta, a beef, a disagreement that could explain what the mayor called a crime of passion. I see this with a lot of exes, ex-boyfriends, people that they've had falling outs with on social media. But what you do is find that one person is targeted. You don't see them continue with everyone else in the house. So that's what is really unusual from a criminological standpoint. When you think about the fact that one person might have been targeted and they decided to kill everyone else in the house and there was no sexual assault, to me, that's extremely interesting. The stabbing motion we typically see in forensic psychology is what we call piquerism. It's a substitute for sexual action when you can't sexually perform. So that has raised some theories that it could be an incel, somebody who's an involuntary celibate, who has issues with what Elliot Rodgers once called Stacy's, those beautiful blonde sorority sister types, because they feel like they're unattainable.
Well, Kaylee had made comments about a stalker before her death.
I've got to tell you, young ladies, I've been teaching college for 35 years. If they've got a stalker, they tell everyone. They tell their friends. They might not tell their family because they don't want daddy to worry, but they're not stupid. They want their friends to walk with them to bars. I think that if the stalker theory were real, we would have a lot more information on that. People would have a specific person in mind, and that would be a person of interest by now.
Yeah. If this was someone that was attracted to one or both of Kaylee and Maddie, I mean, why go to the other couple?
The person that did this was somebody who is satiated by the killing. I think that's the main thing because of the fact that it continued. And I think what we probably would see is an escalated behavior. So this is somebody who I can guarantee you in the community in which they live, there's people who know this individual as odd, somebody who has a violent past, or somebody they've dated or in their family who's shown a propensity for violence and has increased. Because of the way this was carried out, I just don't believe that this is the first time this person is killed.
This is a very intimate way to kill someone. To kill somebody with a knife is very up close, it's very personal, it's time consuming, and you're involved. You're covered in their blood. You smell the blood. You're right there. And that is a barrier that few people cross. And to do it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, this is a dangerous individual. Somebody knows this person. Somebody out there works with this person. Somebody out there is a parent or a brother or a sister to this person. Somebody knows who this is. And everybody has a baseline. And when people do something dramatic in their life, they tend to depart from that baseline. And you need to think about this. If you're listening to this right now, if there's someone you know that's been in or around Moscow, Idaho, and you think, no, but extend your thinking. You truly, truly need to think about that. Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and
Sorry, I didn't realize I was on mute. So yeah, that was the end of the Dr. Phil special. It was inside of it was supposed to like be, I don't even know I want to just tell you the exact name of it. Inside the Idaho College Murders. It came out today at 4 p.m. And so I wanted to go ahead and play that for you guys. It was just like the 14-minute version. But I'll go ahead and read through some of your comments as well. If you guys are just now joining us, welcome in. If you could hit the like button, that way more people can enjoy the video. Hit the subscribe button if you love true crime and you love lives, because I'm here like every day doing them. So you'll always have somebody to watch. And then also we do have a members only tab that you can join, and it's going to be exclusive videos and it's going to be live onlys for my members. And we're just going to do a lot more things over there. And I have a lot of pictures I need to upload also for you guys. It says, what knife did the guy get arrested have? He said he cut his own arm. Yeah, he had it was like a, not a switchblade, but one that goes into the blade, I believe. And we went over that, I believe, in the live yesterday as well, too. We went over him and how the coroner is his defense attorney. I'm from a small town, and I said this on the live last night. We have the same amount of people from where I was from in my small town as this small town, and that's still too small of a town if the coroner is a defense attorney. And just so happens this guy cuts his arm and decides to beat his wife that day because he'd been drinking. And she called it a fluke. I don't know. That poor woman's in denial. But the police put out a presser. They are not looking at the ex-boyfriend, and they seem to be focused on the couple. So they're focused on what, Zaina and Ethan, you mean? I think everyone in the house knew this guy as well. I think if they didn't know him, he thought that they did. If that makes sense. Like, he was so infatuated with the house and the people that lived in the house that he thought that maybe they knew him too, but they really didn't. Yeah, I did do the press conference for today. I did do a live on that earlier. And then we did a live this morning on AWP, and I showed the video from Nick the tow truck. So if you guys want to check out those, they are up as well to check out. And this is almost one of the small, shortest lives I've had. But if you guys could just do me a huge, huge favor, since I've got you guys in here, if you guys could, like the video, like I said, and if you guys could just drop a little happy birthday in the chat. It's my boyfriend's birthday today, and I know that he would really like that. I know he says he doesn't watch my videos, but I have a feeling he's watching. So if you could just tell him happy birthday, he would love that, I'm sure. Since I kind of, I came on my live, even though it's his birthday. And I'll put it in there too. He'll see it. I think that'd be sweet if everyone could do that for me. We have 100 people in here. I think I could get some people to do that. Thank you guys. You guys are so sweet. His name is Vincent, by the way. Thanks, Aaron. Thanks, guys. He would like that. He's a man of few words, but I think that he would like that. Well, thank you for the super sticker. That was so sweet. Yeah, Marlene, you agree about the corner? Yeah, I'm from the same, I think they have 26,000 and we have 26,000 in my small town. The corner is not allowed to be the defense attorney. That just screams bad news, doesn't it? I can't even imagine that. I'm trying to think of a time where that would even be acceptable. There's never a time. I really appreciate you guys saying happy birthday. Oh, I think he had a pretty decent day. He went to work, but he came home and we had dinner and we had some cake and we opened some presents we probably shouldn't have because they were supposed to be for Christmas, but we did. And let me see if I'm going to check I want to check Twitter to make sure nothing is going on that we don't know about. Because sometimes that happens. And then everyone knows that, today, the press conference, they really didn't say anything. And it doesn't look like anything on here anyway. So I will be back on tomorrow morning, like I said, at 9:15 a.m., bright and early. Yeah, right. Kylie Rodney's case too. The sheriff is the coroner and the ME, and something else too, like public relations officer or something. Oh, thanks, Marlene. Love you too. Oh, thank you guys. So yeah, so I will be back on tomorrow at 9:15 if you want to spend a little bit of your day with me. If you check out my new picture here, I put it on today. It has my girls in the background, my dogs. It's from whenever I used to do a couple of my videos I used to do in front of my bed, and they just would sleep behind me. So I was like, I'm going to put them on there. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. Your courts and your DAs and corners are by county. Yeah. Oh, thank you here for it. Well, you guys have a wonderful evening. I appreciate you guys like spending a little bit of your time with me. Well, TF, just set your alarm clock. We'll be waiting for you. No, if not, you can just catch it on replay. I may, you know me, I say 9:15. I'm hoping sometimes I wake up, like I'm usually up really early around 4 or 5 a.m., but I've been sleeping in the last few days till like 7. And so if I sleep in, I'm just going to go with it. But I'll definitely be on around 9:15. So thank you guys so much for joining me. And don't forget to go ahead and watch the video. If you guys just are now joining us, we did go over a lot in this little bit of a video. So we did a lot in the last 45 minutes. And I really do appreciate you guys. You guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for spending the night with me. And I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye, guys.